My name's Josh.
And my name's Bret.
Welcome to Hapticast.
Wait, Josh. There's got to be a better way to do this.
To do what? How we're recording?
Our intro. We do it the same every single time. It's just getting old. I think there's got to be a better way.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think you're right. You want to, that thing, that we've been talking about, you want to go?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get out of here.
Welcome to Haptic HQ.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Haptic HQ. This is Hapticast. My name is Josh Tull, and I am joined by my good friend, Brett Roberts.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us here at our brand new Haptic HQ studio facility.
It's pretty
Josh,
nice.
What do you think?
I think it's pretty nice. Overall, I think us and HBot did a good job putting it together, and that's it. Here we are.
That's
Brand
right.
new set.
So, like you said, this is Hapticast. This is episode 29, I believe.
Yes.
29 episodes and more.
Mm-hmm. That's
We've
right.
done so many more. So, again, thank you, everybody, for joining us, and welcome to the podcast. Josh, what do we have on the docket for this week's podcast?
What we have on the docket this week is, first of all, we're in a brand new set. Okay? Slick.
That's right.
As far as actual topics, we're going to be talking about Duracell, batteries, and Microsoft controllers, and why Xbox is really stupid and still fucking puts batteries in their fucking controllers without, whatever. We're going to be talking about a modder discovering advanced Miis hiding in Zelda Breath of the Wild. We're going to be talking about Capcom's new video policy. And there's some interesting language in there that we're going to go over. And then we're going to be talking about Scott Pilgrim versus the World, a game that was previously lost that is now coming back and is going to have a physical release. And then we have something I have no idea what's going on for Indie Intel this week. We're going to be doing something a little bit different with the game called, what is it? One Last Game. So stay tuned for that. Right. And then, that's pretty much it. So, but I know we wanted to start with Brett talking about where are we? Why are we doing this? What's happening? Let the people know.
That's right. So, Josh, we started doing our podcast again in 2020 at the very tail end of it.
Yep.
And, it was during a pandemic. We decided that we were going to go remote and we were going to film it in two separate locations. It was easier. It made more sense. Yeah. However, the quality just wasn't the best. We had bigger visions for what the podcast was going to be. So now here we are together in Haptic HQ, where we could come together and make awesome content, and we could do so much more, bigger content, better content. And we have a new theme song, which everybody heard in the intro.
Oh my God. Yes.
Can't forget about that.
How do we not talk about that? I forgot.
And I think it turned out great. It's similar to our old theme song, which we asked, for, elements of that to still be there, but it's 100% ours. It's our own original theme song for Hapticast, and I think it turned out pretty great.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
with that, I know just for this we wanted to shout him out, right?
Yes,
the dude that did it for us. I know him as Jake. That's all he wants to be known as, Jake. We commissioned it from him. I'll leave his SoundCloud and stuff in the description. Big shout out to him, and thank you for giving us our new theme song. Check him out on there. I'll leave links in the description and stuff like that. So,
yeah, he did a great job, and he pretty much followed all of our instructions on like what we wanted it to encompass and sound like. So, good job, Jake. Thank you.
Yeah. And then before we move into the stuff that we normally do, Brett, we also have another person quote unquote, to introduce, if you will say
That's
it.
right. That's right, Josh. Listen, in the past we've had a third chair. We've had a couple of our friends on the podcast with us, and it was a 3-man show multiple times. But now it's a 2-man show and a little something else. So why don't you explain what's going on with that?
Yeah. So you heard him at the top of the show. Okay. Her at the top of the show. HBot, why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself real quick again?
Welcome to Haptic HQ. My name is HBot.
Yeah. So we have a third person, and her name is HBot, and yeah, she'll be joining us from time to time. She took care of the set. She does the video editing. She takes care of all this stuff now because we were tired of doing it ourselves, basically. And yeah, so that's it.
Look, we're called Haptic Intelligence. What else is intelligent? AI, and that's what we got. We got our own AI here at Haptic HQ. What else can we say?
Yeah. H4T1C is her name, otherwise known as HBot. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. So, Brett, before we get into our main topics, it's been a while, right? For obvious reasons, which we've talked about. What's going on? What have you been playing? What have you been doing?
Well, Josh, truthfully, I haven't done much gaming lately.
Wow.
Listen, you got to pack all this stuff up from our previous studios and bring them all here. We were very busy and there was a lot we had to get done.
Yeah.
I did, however, get the chance to check out the new Monster Hunter game for Switch. The demo did drop for that. So I did get to play a little bit of that. And I'm very pleased to say that it plays more like Monster Hunter World than it does like the other Monster Hunter games. And if you're a fan of the old Monster Hunter games, that's fine. But me personally, I prefer the more open nature of World, where you didn't have to load the different areas every time you were chasing the monster.
Right.
So that's great. I've also, been playing a lot of Call of Duty, Black Ops Cold War with you, Zombies mode.
Yeah.
Which we've been fans of zombies for so long.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for us to be into that. And then, wrapping it up, just things I've been watching. I've been watching a lot of Asian Netflix live action shows. Sweet Home, the Korean show first, which you watched as well.
Yep.
And I think we can both say that we liked it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And then the Japanese show Alice in Borderland, is it called?
Yep.
I've been watching that as well. I'm on episode like 5 or 6 of that.
Oh, okay. So
So-
you're almost there.
Yeah, and I'm enjoying both of them.
Yeah.
I think Sweet Home was in my opinion, was a better show, but Alice in Borderland is shaping up to be a cool idea. So, yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, I agree. Pretty much same for me. We did also play Little Hope.
Oh, we did play Little Hope. You're right.
The Dark Pictures anthology, Little Hope. We played through it,
Yeah.
beat it. We liked Man of Medan, but I think this was much better than Man of Medan. I think I have a similar issue with this game as I did with the first one, where like the choices and the changes are so vague that and we made the right choices through that entire game. Like we did. We were like, okay, this. We got to the end. Everybody was alive, and then a stupid fucking mechanic was revealed that we didn't even know existed, and kind of felt cheated at the end there, if you will. But it's all right.
Yeah, we lost 2 characters after we played through the whole game almost flawlessly. 2 characters died automatically just because of a mechanic that we didn't know existed in the game. And it gave us an ending that kind of sucked. Not sucked, but it would have been a much cooler ending if everyone had made it out.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I agree with you there.
I beat Cyberpunk. And I've been playing Little Big Planet, or not Little Big Planet, Sackboy's Big Adventure too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, we've been busy with the move, and that's it.
Yeah, and the alleyways here, just to get all of our stuff inside the warehouse here was rough. The alleyways are so tight and narrow.
Yeah.
So getting all of our stuff in here was a nightmare,
Yeah.
especially these new, pieces of furniture that we have in here.
Yeah. And especially digging our underground facilities and stuff too. It's
Oh yeah.
It's
it was a nightmare.
yeah, it is, but we're here, so
It's worth it.
yeah, absolutely. Well, with that, Brett, let's hop into our first main topic of the day.
All right. You want me to take it away?
Yeah, go for it. Do it.
All right, Josh. This is something that you knew about a lot, way more than me. I had no idea what this was about. But essentially what's happening is Duracell apparently isn't secretly paying Microsoft to put AA batteries in Xbox controllers. I didn't even know this was a controversy, but apparently it was. Do you recall this being a big deal?
Well, I mean, maybe not necessarily in like the sphere of other people, but for me, and I know I've complained to you for a long time, I'm like, dude, Duracell has to have some kind of deal with Xbox that they keep fucking packaging these stupid fucking batteries. So, listen, every other major console maker's controller and every other like major controller, even like Stadia and even the Steam controller and stuff, all have rechargeable batteries inside, built into the controller. So you can just charge it and you don't have to worry about like external batteries. Xbox forever, including with the fucking Series X, still packages 2 little Duracell batteries, AA's, with the controller for you. So you have to replace the controller batteries, and they don't last that long. Now, yes, they have plain charge kits and external stuff that you can use with it, but it doesn't come with it. You always have to buy peripherals or just keep buying batteries, which is fucking abysmal.
That's right. So let's break down like what happened here and why this became such a big thing overnight. So there is a gaming news site called Stealth Optional, and they did an interview with Duracell's UK marketing manager, Luke Anderson, which I don't know why you would be hitting up Duracell's marketing manager asking for an interview, but hey, he did, or they did.
Yeah.
And Luke Anderson told them that there's always been this partnership with Duracell and Xbox. It's a constant agreement that Duracell and Microsoft have in place.
Yeah.
It's a very vague statement. They have a agreement. They have something in place. What does that mean necessarily? Who knows, right?
Yeah.
Well, Stealth Optional published the article with the interview with the headline, Xbox controllers still use AA batteries due to a constant agreement with Duracell. What the fuck? What are you thinking? Why? Why would you do that? Why would you publish that? So then all these other gaming news sites started picking this article up and citing it.
Right.
And it became fake news.
Right.
So Xbox's marketing manager, was it? I don't know if I have the person here.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, a Microsoft spokesperson told Eurogamer that this is straight up not true. They intentionally offer consumers choice in their battery solutions for our standard Xbox wireless controllers. That's the reason why its standard wireless Xbox controllers still use AA batteries instead of building one inside the controller.
Listen, besides the fake news aspect of this stuff, okay, because, I mean, could have fooled me that you didn't have a fucking deal with Duracell since you've been packaging them in your consoles and your controllers for years. But you want to give users a choice? Like, with that? Come on, dude. Come on.
Now, you can play devil's advocate, and you can say with a PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4 controller, you know, if the battery does eventually go, like dies for good, you can't replace that. You have to get a whole new controller, which does suck, right?
I guess.
But it's just so much more convenient for the user to just be able to plug your controller in right away and
and to my knowledge, that's not really a widespread issue as long as you put a decent battery in there. I haven't heard about
that's true.
I haven't heard about too many people's, you know, Nintendo like or Switch Pro controllers or DualShock 4s or whatever like dying because of the battery. Sure, it might not last as long the older it gets, like all batteries. That makes sense. But
yeah,
to me, this is like such a no-brainer. Just put a fucking battery in the controller like everybody else and move on. Like I don't.
Yeah, I mean, like you might get a controller that charges a little less than normal when it gets older, but usually you don't really see them die straight up like that. Yeah. Unless there's some kind of a shortage or, you know, a drastic problem with the controller. Yeah. But like I have PlayStation 4 controllers from launch still that they still charge and they still play. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I don't know if that's really necessarily a big issue.
Yeah, I agree. I think they just put a battery in there, a rechargeable one, standard, and get on with their lives.
Yeah. This is a good example of, you know, how fake news and shit like this spreads so rapidly and so quickly. Mm-hmm. I think Stealth Optional, no offense, you guys kind of dropped the ball and jumped the gun a little bit.
Right.
And, you know, sure they have an agreement in place, but why didn't you dig a little deeper and find out, you know, why would you just assume one thing is X is one way because of Y. That's not necessarily true.
I think
Their
it's
agreement is that they package that brand of battery in with the controller. That doesn't necessarily mean that's why they don't put rechargeable batteries.
Right. I think it's one of those things that's just like, oh, this is going to get a lot of hits. Let's get it out.
Oh yeah, and we're guilty of that as well. We do that with our titles and thumbnails all the time. But when it's something like this, the headline was, what's the headline again? Xbox controllers still use AA batteries due to a constant agreement with Duracell. That's not right.
Right. Yeah. It's false, unfortunately.
Fake news.
Yes.
That's it.
But I mean, you could have fooled me again, which is why I think it was so believable when it came out, because it's like, oh yeah, that makes complete sense why they still do that.
Yeah. And the player's choice thing is such a PR corporate answer.
Yes.
They wanted to give the players the choice to do whatever they wanted,
Right.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Right.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
Nah.
All right. Well, Josh, then we're going to move on to our next topic, which something I found on Twitter and I thought was interesting, and I think you might think it's pretty interesting as well.
Hit me with it.
So, Josh, a modder discovered that Nintendo's most advanced Miis are hiding inside of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So if you don't know, which you should know, the Wii is one of the best-selling consoles of all time. And with the Wii launched Miis, which are little characters that you create for yourself. You can customize their hair, their eyes, their mouth, everything about them, right?
Yep.
So what happened over this week was a Twitter user named Hey I'm Heroic posted a discovery that seemed to confirm that Mii-like parameters had been used to create NPCs in Breath of the Wild. By using modding to inject custom Mii's details into the game and seeing their familiar cartoon faces renders as Hylians in Breath of the Wild's art style. So if you scroll down in our notes here, Josh, you'll actually be able to see some examples of that.
Oh my
So
God.
on the left there, you have Barrett from Final Fantasy VII. That's his Mii, turned into an NPC in Breath of the Wild. That's Matt, which is a famous Mii from Wii Sports, turned into an NPC. And you can kind of see the creative liberties that Breath of the Wild takes with the Miis when it generates the character.
Yeah.
Matt's beard looks a little bigger than usual.
Yeah. It makes like a high-res image from like a really like chibi almost model.
Exactly. So these results seem to prove that Breath of the Wild's NPCs are a form of advanced Miis, a point that the game's code helps support by referring to these as U-Miis. So there's a whole new breed of Miis called U-Miis.
We've ascended.
We have absolutely ascended, Josh. And then when asked if this was the most advanced version of Miis that Hey I'm Heroic has ever discovered, they explained, "This is easily the most intricate usage of Miis yet. In fact, it is so complex, it's hard to still call them Miis. Depending on how strict your definition of what a Mii is, you can say that these aren't even Miis at all.
Oh my God.
Previously, I thought the most interesting use of Miis was actually in Super Mario 3D Land, of all games, where some levels you get are based on your Mii's favorite color, but this definitely takes the cake." So I thought that quote was interesting because they do mention that Miis have been used in certain Nintendo games as well, like Super Mario 3D Land, to impact the level based on the color of your Mii's outfit.
Right.
But this is straight up just like they're using the Mii generator to create NPCs, which is actually a really smart way to get around, having to make characters for your game.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So what do you think, man, about these U-Miis? What do you think?
I mean, I think it's cool. I think it's fun. I think it's lighthearted. I think it's interesting. And I think it's weird too that like why does that like why did they do that? You know what I mean? Like maybe I'm misunderstanding, but is it not just like code in there that upscales these like lower things that makes it work like this? Like why would that be in the game?
So this person that figured all this out, the modder, Hey I'm Heroic, they are actually taking commissions where they can inject your Mii, if you send all the parameters for your personal Mii, they can inject your Mii into Breath of the Wild. But they did say that reverse engineering that and turning a Breath of the Wild character into a Mii is not as easy.
Right. Okay.
So there has to be some parameters in there where, the Yumis are a little more advanced, so I guess turning a Yumi into a Mii is hard, but vice versa is easy.
Yeah. But I mean,
yeah,
hey, it's cool. You know, it seems like it's only for NPCs that it works right now. So you could
Yes.
I guess could potentially do like entire villages of like your friends or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I could see this could be something like streamers and like content creators and stuff use as like, you know, like jokes and things like that. Yeah, man, I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's a nice little story.
It is a nice little story. And you made a good point there when you said it's only the NPCs. All of the main characters have like their own custom character models. It's only these NPCs that you could do this with.
Right.
And I do want to point out that Hey I'm Heroic on their Twitter, you can go check that out. They actually have a website with like a complete history of Miis, and it's almost like a wiki for Miis. And any Mii that has ever appeared in a game for Nintendo is on there. And it like shows you all of the games that they were in, all their models, what they looked like. And there was even like something called like golden Miis and fake Miis. And Josh, I don't know what the fuck that means, but I think I'm gonna have to check it out because
I didn't realize there was such a huge Mii subculture, dude.
I didn't either. But this person is like the Mii expert.
That's cool. Well, I'm gonna follow them on Twitter. They have this. Most of this came from Twitter, right? And then they have their own website.
Yeah, I think this was picked up by a couple of news outlets. But you could follow them. Hey, I'm Heroic on Twitter. So go check that out.
I'm gonna check it
and
out.
like I said, they're doing commissions. So if you want to inject your Mii, I mean, their list might be very large right now with all the people that are interested. But
Probably. Damn.
Yeah, man, get some Miis, get some Miis, man.
They're gonna need to create an entire freaking, squad of people to start injecting these Miis into the game. With how many requests?
Well, hey, like you said, this could be something that's pretty popular with like streamers and stuff like that. But also, like it's like commissioned artwork essentially. It's you're getting a portrait.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. There's a lot of things I think this could apply to. So yeah, I think it's cool, man.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for all the me and Yumi work you've been doing over on Twitter. Hey, I'm Heroic, and everyone go check them out.
Yep. All right. So moving from something that's fun and lighthearted and nice to something that a little vague and maybe not so lighthearted and maybe not so nice. Brett. Capcom, as of January 6th, 2021, has updated their video policy for content creators. Okay. The original post that they made was on Twitter. They were like, attention all creators, here's our updated video policy. Okay. So I know I sent this to you after I saw it. We both read through it, and I told you some of the things that I was confused by, and I was like, what does this mean specifically? And vice versa. Okay. So I put almost everything that was on that release on here that's applicable. I'm not going to read through all of this, but there's some specific things that I want to talk about with this. Okay.
Yeah, do it.
So I think there's a lot that's fine with this, right? Like a lot of it is stuff that's already would really already be applied in fair use, right? A lot of it is already kind of no-brainer stuff, and they're not changing a lot of that. So creative content, you can make walkthroughs, tutorials, let's plays, reactions, whatever it is. Step-by-step guides, as long as you're adding instructional or educational value or some kind of entertainment value to the content, right? So you can continue to do that. Game footage posted online. Okay, it says you should not share game footage online without adding your own video or content. Okay, which makes sense, unless the game console or device permits sharing of the game footage. Okay, this is one of the big ones. I was like, what are you saying here? Like, it seems like it's muddying it up. So let me read it in its entirety. Let me read it in its entirety, and then I want to hear what your thoughts are, because I still don't understand this. Game footage posted online. Okay, that's the subheading. You should not share game footage online without adding your own video or content unless the game console or device permits sharing of game footage. You may not split up our game content into components, so visual, vocal, in-game elements, music, etc., and distribute such components as separate content. I get that, right? Making your own, like, oh, I'm going to have the footage, and then I'm going to have the music, and then I'm going to have the audio. Like, I get that. I don't think people...
Sounds like that's like ripping assets almost.
Yeah. People don't typically do that for monetary gain anyway. But this first line, you should not share game footage online without adding your own video or content. Okay, that makes sense. Unless the game console or device permits sharing of game footage. What does that mean? Are they saying then you can't do like walkthroughs or guides or anything like that if you don't have like your own video over it, or your thing that you're making the video from doesn't allow you to save video? What?
Yeah, it muddies it a lot, like you said, because essentially what they're saying is like it falls under fair use already, which is you can't just upload something and make money off of it if there's no transformative nature of it, right? So they're saying you have to add your own video or content, right? So me and you, we talked about this, you and I, about walkthroughs and stuff like that for YouTube. If someone's making a game walkthrough, do they have to like put a video of themselves, or can they just have the text on top of it? How does that work?
Because some people just use their voice or use text. You know what I mean? Especially for like guides and things like that. There's like a whole there's like really two big subcultures with guides on YouTube, and one is like the more interactive entertainment type of guide, right? And there's another one that's very like no audio, no anything. Here's where everything
straight to
is
the point.
Text, right? And people like different things and learn differently, and that's fine. So I don't think that's what this means. Like it's going to inhibit that type of content. But if creators right now make their living, right, of just doing very not bare bones, but like very to the point, concise guides, I hope that this is not saying that they can't do that with their game footage.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just the fact that it says unless the device permits the sharing of game footage.
Yeah.
What does that mean? You can't use a like a PVR or a digital video recorder, like a game capture device. You have to use the PlayStation 4 or 5's built-in system or the Switch. Like, what does that mean? Why does that matter?
I don't know. That and this is the most updated version of this too. So I don't know. Maybe maybe I'm just stupid. I don't know.
You know how some games it'll say like a gameplay recording has stopped because of a cutscene or something like that?
Yeah.
On the PlayStation?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they mean, in that there's like certain things that they don't want spoiled in their games. And like if you post that means the only way you could have got that is through using an outside external digital video recorder.
Oh. Or maybe
that's the only explanation.
Or maybe it means more so like direct ripped content released by Capcom, like trailers, footage, or like leaked stuff or whatever. Like maybe it's like, hey, you have to capture your own footage.
Maybe, but the fact that they're like saying you have to get it from your console is just weird. I don't get that.
Because there is a separate section. I don't know if I put it on here. There's a separate section about spoilers. Any posting or other unauthorized disclosure of game content prior to a game's official release is strictly prohibited, obviously. Even after an official game release, spoilers can ruin the fan's experience, and we always aim to avoid them. Please be respectful of others and do not deliberately push plot reveals on people who are actively avoiding learning about them. Otherwise, please offer spoiler disclaimers as a courtesy. I don't know. So, yeah, I don't know. I thought that one in particularly was confusing. And then I think there's one more that we talked about. So let's see. Game footage posted online. You should not share game footage online without adding your own video game content unless the game console or device permits sharing of game footage. Oh, that's what we just talked about. I'm sorry. Not official Capcom video. Fan content may not be promoted as official Capcom content. Obviously, you won't get any DMCA copyright strikes for Capcom music specifically, but some of their games contain licenses for outside not original Capcom music, so you can't use that. Audience appropriate. Okay. Audience appropriate. So all fan-created content should be appropriate for the audience of the Capcom games. For example, if you tape game content for a younger audience and make it objectionable, we reserve the right to take it down.
So is that like if it's a Mega Man with a big penis drawing, they could take it down?
I guess, or it's like you can't like promote Resident Evil Village, which is like a strictly M game, to like, I don't know, 10-year-olds or something like that. I don't know. I thought that one particularly too was strange.
Yeah,
that they had to incorporate that.
I do remember seeing something about, I see it here, permissible monetization.
Yes.
It was basically saying like you can't use assets from Capcom games for Twitch emotes,
Right.
and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Which is interesting, and it begs the question, like, what about fan art? Is it okay if it's fan art and not a direct rip of your asset? Who knows?
Probably, as long as I don't think you're making direct money off of that, but that one was, a little interesting wording. And then they have something about unauthorized usage here. We do not allow usage of or promotion of third-party content, third-party programs, including hacks, cheating, etc., or devices that circumvent intended protection of Capcom titles. Additionally, we do not allow Capcom content to be uploaded to a platform for which rights have not been granted, such as the creation of Twitch emotes. Oh, okay, and that continues with that. Yeah.
And that's like sad because the modding community is so huge, and it's really good to see a company embrace modding rather than demonize it,
Yeah. This
especially if it's like an older game.
this is almost worded like, hey, if you create content about hacking our games, then we're gonna take it down or something like that. It's almost what
Yeah,
this seems
or
like.
take action.
Yeah. Which is stupid. I mean, look at how much people did with Resident Evil 3 remake, which is their last release.
Yes.
Now listen, a lot of it is like just making Jill and people have like huge tits. I get that.
Yeah, nude
But
mods and stuff like that.
yeah, but hey man, if people want to do that, then that's fine. I think a company should be like, hey, I know this is part of our community. As long as it's not like illegal, then who cares? I don't know.
Yeah. I'm with you. See, the thing is, like, I'm torn because good for Capcom for putting this together and, making something concrete that you could refer
True.
to and know if you're breaking their
True,
rules. But at
true.
the same time, it muddies itself. It's not clear. It's not clear. At points, it contradicts itself.
Yeah.
I'm looking through it again right now. It's just they need to make it not lawyer speak. They need to make it for the people that it's intended to go to. Content creators are going to be reading this, right?
Right. And it's always something that we talk about on this channel, is like how fair use really is not that confusing, in and of itself, but that people that legislate it or enforce it make it confusing or interpret it the way that it shouldn't be interpreted. And things like this, I think, can be helpful, but I think the further, like, just the way that it's worded, like you said, I think makes it confusing for people that are reading it, like us.
The intended audience, yeah.
Yeah. Because we don't want copyright strikes and things like that. And nobody, listen, dude, nobody is trying to rip Capcom games and make money off of them. Okay. And the few people that are doing that, right, that exist, maybe, which who knows if it's even possible anymore. I'm stupid. I don't even know if you can rip games like content off of that anymore and sell it. There are probably people doing that, but content creators like on YouTube and Twitch and modding communities aren't doing that for that. You know what I mean? Like, they're not making money off of your intellectual property like that. They're not ripping it.
I think they're more so worried that someone's going to like just take the full game and put it up on YouTube and not transform it at all, and then you don't have to buy the game. You could just watch that. Yeah, that's what I think they're really worried about.
That makes sense. And people are going to do that anyway, probably. But I would say the majority of people are actually making their own content, whether it's a Let's Play, whether it's people, there's people that cut together, all the in-game cinematics and make it like a movie and things like that. Stuff like that is transformative. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on here. We're going to talk about, unfortunately, kind of more legal stuff, more legal trouble, mumbo jumbo stuff, Josh. Mm-hmm. Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game, which is a title previously lost to time, is coming back, and it will have a physical release. Josh, this is huge. This is huge. This is a game that it's not like this game was really bad. This game was loved. This game has, I think I wrote here, a 77 on Metacritic, which isn't like crazy, but this was a game that was published by Ubisoft. It was made by like a little rinky-dink team that didn't get enough attention, or they didn't get all the resources that they could have used for this. Mm-hmm. And they made a game. It's a beat 'em up. Has a great soundtrack by Anna Monoguchi, and it's an awesome game, right?
The game mimicked the cult-like nature of the original comics or graphic novels or whatever they were, the cult-like nature of the movie that was directed by Edgar Wright, and then the game itself had like a cult-like nature of it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
they all like represent each other that way.
Exactly. So unfortunately, the game was released in 2010, and unfortunately, in 2014, the game's license ran out. Whether that was the music from Anamanaguchi or it was the license with, I think his name is Brandon Lee O'Malley, the creator of Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
Who knows what it was, but the license ran out and the game was removed from all digital marketplaces. That meant, Josh, that the only way you could play the game is if you had it downloaded on a console from when it was, still up.
Right.
It was a sad time. It was one of those games that was lost to time forever, and it was highly regarded, much like PT, released by Konami and Hideo Kojima. It's a game that was, sucked off by the fans.
Yep.
And it was taken away, and you couldn't ever do anything with it. It was gone.
Nope.
So good news came at Ubisoft's E3 conference last year, 2020. They revealed that Scott Pilgrim vs. the game was getting put out again. It was getting remade on all, modern consoles. But the big thing, Josh, was what is going to happen if it's a digital-only release? Is this going to happen again?
Mm-hmm.
We want a physical copy of this thing. Because if you have a disc or a little cartridge with the game on it, you could always pop it in. You don't ever risk losing it at all.
Right.
And unfortunately, that's the space we're in now with games, right? I mean,
you can
see
just
it
have a
all the time.
license revoked at any time.
Exactly. So, thankfully, Josh, limited run games, which you might know from their Vita games that they've done. They've done PlayStation 4 games before.
Mm-hmm. Listen, if you don't know who limited run games is and you're watching this, they're slick. Okay? That's it.
They are slick. They're very slick. They release these physical versions of these digital-only games, which is awesome for preservation. They put them in a cool package. Sometimes they come with a little bit of extra goodies in the box. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the box art is like super cool and different from the original artwork that they used on the digital storefronts. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they have reversible covers. But anyway, Limited Run Games is taking care of the physical version of Scott Pilgrim, and it's going to be produced for Switch, PS4, and eventually the Xbox One. So every console's there.
Cool.
Several different versions of the game are going to be produced. There is, I think, like a $30 version, a $60 version. There's like a $130 version. Mm-hmm. Josh, I'm sure the Haptic bot, HBot, can put up images of the different versions of the limited run games release as we're talking about it.
Yeah.
No problem, Brett.
But like the most expensive one is like this big box that like you would put like, like when bands have shows, they have those big gig boxes that they open up and have all their equipment in.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like one of those tour boxes. And it has a stage with all the characters on it rocking out, has lights shining down on it. There's music playing when you open the box. And then underneath all of that is like the collector's version of the game, which is like a Sega Genesis box, like one of those old clamshells. Mm-hmm. You open that up, then the actual game is in there, a regular case. What else? I think it comes with a concert ticket stub, a pin set of like each character has their own pin. I'm probably forgetting so many cool things that it comes with. But wow, it's like the ultimate package. It's almost like we had nothing and now we have like everything all at once, and it's like overload.
Listen, it's slick. Limited Run always does a good job. We've actually, I don't know if met is the right word, but we've seen them like in person when we went to too many games and stuff like that. They always had those booths with everything set up. They almost, it's not a great comparison because they do more so publishing stuff rather than development, obviously. But they are the Blue Point to the publishing aspect of like game stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. They are bringing games back to life. Just like Blue Point does, right? Yeah. So, very different, but also very similar. I see what you're saying. And listen, if you're a fan of Scott Pilgrim, the comics, if you're a fan of the films, if you've never played the game, it's awesome. It's really cool. It's really fun. It's a beat 'em up. I think it's 4 players all at once, so you could couch co-op with your friends, and all of you play a different character. So check it out. It's really cool. And the fact that it was such a small team working on it, and there's so many videos you could watch and documentaries now about the game and the development process of the game. It'll make you appreciate it a lot more once you find out the history of it. So
Good stuff.
yeah, it's back.
I love it.
All right,
Brett. So this week, we usually end this every week with indie intel, right? Giving light to some sort of indie game, smaller studio, something like that. This week's going to be a little bit different, and this is all being run by you. So take it away from here. What's going on here?
Yeah, so I don't really know how to explain what's happening here, but essentially, Josh, I'm on YouTube and I found this channel that publishes videos about really obscure, really cool indie games. Whether it's a game jam game or it's something made by like one guy.
Yep.
They do a let's play of the whole thing. So I watched it. I watched this channel and I found a game that kind of blew me away a little bit. I was like, wow, that was really impactful. That was really cool. The game is called One Last Game, and it is by Goose Ladder Games. Much different than how we usually do indie intel, Josh. I know we always said we wanted to, maybe, play the demo of the game on the channel or, we had all these different things we want to do. Well, that's what we're going to do. This game is short. It's less than 10 minutes long.
Wow.
We're going to play it right now. I want to get your live reactions. I've seen it before. You have no idea anything about it.
No idea.
We're going to play it, and I'm going to, watch you play it, and we're going to talk about it. So take it away.
Well, let's do that. But to do that, Brett, obviously we're not set up here for a let's play. So
No.
we're going to have to go to the what do we call it?
The theater.
The theater.
Yeah, the game room, the theater downstairs.
Game room. All right. HBot, take us away, baby. Brett, we are in the theater.
That is right, Josh. We're in the theater, and we're going to be playing One Last Game.
Okay.
So I think the premise of the game is you're playing checkers with a friend. Clearly, things are not ideal, as you can see from this page.
Right.
You're playing checkers. There's a storm outside, or something's going on, Josh. But
Okay.
just play some checkers with your buddy.
Playing checkers with my friend right now.
Okay.
Oh. Everything is getting schmecked up on the board right now.
That's right.
Okay, he took my piece. I'm going to take his piece then. Oh, I can't because it's schmecked up. Well,
Do what you can.
that was loud. Okay. Where are we? Like
Candles
fucking
going.
war-torn Russia right now?
I don't know where you are.
Dude, this is the jankiest game of checkers I've ever played in my entire life.
Hey, listen, given the circumstances.
Yeah, now we're playing by candlelight. Okay. Actually, can I... Dude, checkers is messed up right now.
Oh. Hit.
What?
I thought he was going to take your piece.
Dude, the pieces are all over the place. Looks like you just moved 2 places. Can I move this? I guess so. Well, that shouldn't
There
be
you go.
happening. I shouldn't be next to each other. It's alright. We're doing our best here given the circumstances. Or can I move this? Dude, that is loud in my ears right now. Okay. Took my piece. Now I'm going to take your piece. This is my friend. He looks sad. Why is my friend so sad? Oh, there's a knock at the door. Who's there, Brett? He just take... Oh, he just double jumped me. Why is it... Can I open the door? Dude, it's loud. Can I open the door? I'm clicking it. Nothing's happening. Dude, what is that noise? I can't even click my pieces now. Dude, they're aggressive at the door right now, my man.
The door is shaking.
Dude, is my man looking at the door? He's like unfazed. Oh my god, it's loud! What do you want? He's holding my hand. What's going on? Hello? Thanks for playing. What happened? Brett, what happened?
I think it's a little ambiguous. I think it could, be up to interpretation, but clearly there was something going on outside.
So here's my take on it: is that this was probably taking place during World War II, and we were getting bombed, and then the Gestapo or somebody were coming to knock at the door and take us away somewhere.
And it was just one last moment of normality.
Yeah.
Before things went absolutely nuts.
Did I interpret that right, you think?
I think so. That's what I took it as well. Very short, very quick game. This was actually made at a game jam, so they only had like 48 hours or something to make this.
Yeah.
I just thought for what it was, it's very impactful and effective.
Yeah, and sad.
How simple. And very sad. When your friend puts his hand on top of you, comforting you at the end there, you know, like, oh boy, something very bad is happening. But you and I always talk about how games are art, and I think that though, it looks, not amateurish, but it has a different style. It's not like the most polished thing.
Yeah.
What an effective title this was. And
yeah. With just obviously like some basic code with the checkerboard stuff. And then, the sound effects of the door and the bombs.
Exactly.
So,
it was a scripted game. Obviously, they had I think it was actually like time-based where no matter what you did in the actual checkers game, all that was going to happen regardless.
Right. All right. Well, thank you for sharing. Let's go back to the studio, shall we?
Take it away.
HBot, take us up.
Like and subscribe.
So yeah, one last game. I thought it would be interesting to share with you and our viewers as well. So go check it out. We'll leave a link in the description. You can actually play it right in your browser if you guys are interested in checking it out, sharing it with your loved ones and friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's Indie Intel. Indie Intel this week.
Thanks for sharing that, Brett. That was cool.
Of course.
We should do more stuff like that, where we just play a quick little clip of whatever indie, if there's a demo, or it's something that's already been released, just a quick little part of it. I like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it could really benefit the channel and the Indie Intel as well. I mean, we'll get more out of the game if we actually get to try it rather than just talking about it, right? So
right, yeah. Well, that'll pretty much do it, I guess, for this week. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, man.
So, I mean, this was our first week in the new set. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Brett and I are glad to be back together. Just a quick update, and I guess ask from you all is to just kind of bear with us this next week or so, as our upload schedule is going to be not sporadic, but just different than it would typically. And then hopefully after this next week, we'll be back to kind of normal. We still have some last minute stuff to get set up here, a lot more work to do. So just kind of bear with us as we move forward and work out some kinks with our new studio and everything. So
absolutely. And again, thank you guys so much for checking out Haptic Intel, checking out Hapticast here, and make sure you like and you comment. We want to know what you think. Let us know what you think of the new theme song.
Yes.
What you think of the new set, the new intro that Josh put together. A little trip down memory lane, which I really do like that a lot. Yeah, and make sure you guys subscribe and share with a friend or something, Yeah. That's all I got.
Yep, so that'll do it for us for this week. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, HBot.
No problem, Josh.
And that'll do it for us. We'll see you guys later in the next one. All right, HBot, take us away.
Thank you for watching Hapticast. Please like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you do not miss an upload.